Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe now says he's asked the IOC, the International Olympic Committee, for a one-year postponement of the Tokyo Olympics. And he says that these Summer Games will be held by summer 2021 at the latest. He says that he has been in touch with the IOC, with the senior management there, and has confirmed with them that the Tokyo Olympics will not be cancelled, but will only be postponed for 1 year. Now, this is going to be allegedly a complete Olympics. That includes both the Summer Games and the Paralympics. And Abe is couching this as proof of victory over coronavirus.
Well, I think a really interesting thing to look at is the fact that the death toll in Spain has now surpassed that of Italy. It's rising at a faster rate. Yesterday, there was a report of 27% increase in the number of dead by 462 to just over 2,100 in the country. The number of cases there now in excess of 33,000. Clearly, that's less than the 60,000 cases we've seen in Italy, but that death rate is now accelerating at a faster rate. Some positive signs from Italy that the quarantine measures may be starting to take some effect. For the second consecutive day, the death toll has fallen there. We saw a record high on Saturday of 800, but yesterday we saw 602.
In the news today, the global number of coronavirus cases has now soared past 350,000 people. And medical experts say, contrary to what was first believed, young people are susceptible to coronavirus.
Deborah, there's a disturbing new development in the fight against the COVID-19 virus. It's not the elderly and those with underlying conditions most at risk. There's growing evidence that young people are more in danger than anyone ever imagined. Right now, there's a 12-year-old girl on a ventilator and a 7-month-old baby struggling to survive in the hospital.
Is new hope today. 750,000 doses of the drug chloroquine and other promising drugs are being sent to New York for clinical trials. One patient undergoing the new drug treatment is Greg Mundis, and he's responding well to a related drug, hydroxychloroquine, in a hospital in Missouri.
Good evening. The coronavirus is the biggest threat this country has faced for decades, and this country is not alone. All over the world, we're seeing the devastating impact of this invisible killer. And so tonight, I want to update you on the latest steps we're taking to fight the disease and what you can do to help. From this evening, I must give the British people a very simple instruction. You must stay at home. That is why people will only be allowed to leave their home for the following very limited purposes. Shopping, one form of exercise a day, any medical need to provide care or to help a vulnerable person, and travelling to and from work, but only where this is absolutely necessary and cannot be done from home.
Thailand is ramping up efforts to deal with the coronavirus pandemic. Its government is set to issue an emergency decree enabling further measures to slow the spread of the virus. The measures include imposing curfews, banning travels, and closing down buildings without warrants. The Southeast Asian nation now has over 800 confirmed cases and 4 deaths.
The number of cases of COVID-19 in South Africa has increased 6-fold in recent days. From 61 cases just over a week ago, there were 402 by Monday. For the government, an alarming escalation, leading to the announcement of a 21-day lockdown by the president. Only essential workers such as police, healthcare workers, and those working in food services will be allowed out. People will only be allowed to leave their homes for medical care or to buy food and medicine. The army will be deployed to ensure restrictions on movement are obeyed. A travel ban from high-risk countries is already in place and schools are shut, all designed to reduce the spread of the virus.
What was meant to be an idyllic cruise has turned into a nightmare.
Just before everyone was being seated for dinner tonight, the captain announced that there is one case of coronavirus on the boat.
Simon and Brett Jarks have been on the Costa Victoria cruise ship for almost a month. For the past fortnight, the ship has been refused entry to multiple European ports as countries try to contain the coronavirus. The captain has sought to calm rising anxiety amongst passengers, but last night they were sent into lockdown after a confirmed case of COVID-19.
I'm going to swing all the way from Toronto over to Vancouver. That city took extraordinary steps today to force people to stay home. The city's council approved a motion that will see residents fined up to $1,000 for failing to comply with social distancing rules. Businesses face a fine of up to $50,000. That's after reports over the weekend of large groups of people coming together for outdoor picnics or to play soccer. Kennedy Stewart is the mayor of Vancouver. He joins us now. Hi, Mayor Stewart. Thanks for making time for us.
Yeah, well, just starting last week, we started by closing bars and restaurants on St. Patrick's Day. We were worried about lots and lots of people coming downtown, so we had a health order from the Minister of Health to do that, and then we moved on to have a state of emergency where we started to shut down bars and restaurants and other establishments.
With South Korea's economy still on an emergency footing because of the COVID-19 outbreak, the government's decided to double the amount of financial aid for local businesses. President Moon Jae-in says it reflects the government's resolve to protect local companies, both large and small.
South Korea has decided to double the size of the economic relief package unveiled last week to $80 billion. During the second meeting of the Emergency Economic Council on Tuesday, President Moon Jae-in said that the emergency funds will be used not only to help small businesses and the self-employed, but also companies which are part of South Korea's key industries. The president said it's a preemptive step to protect the domestic firms and maintain employment.
The lack of a public transport system in a city of more than 35 million people means Peshawar is gridlocked every day. But that's supposed to change with a nearly $500 million rapid transport project, locally known as BRT. Construction began in 2017, but it has quickly become a liability for Prime Minister Imran Khan's provincial government. The delays in completion have become a nuisance for commuters and local businesses.
It was meant to be a model transport project, but already it has missed deadlines multiple times, and an internal investigation has found that officials have received kickbacks worth millions of dollars.
As well as corruption, an internal inspection criticized the lack of a comprehensive plan for the project. Even the route was brought into question.
Камер видеонаблюдения, а также есть картинки, которые происходят, какие события происходят в магазинах.
Не контролируем, то есть мы отдаем технологию и не влияем и не говорим, как ее можно использовать. То есть это технология, которая работает правоохранительные органы для обеспечения безопасности. Дальше они вправе использовать ее везде, где они хотят.